Once more, I want to give thanks to YOU.CAN for sponsoring today's video. As I mentioned before, YOU.CAN earbuds, such as their latest model, the Everyday E25 lineup, are top-of-the-line wireless Bluetooth earbuds that not only start at about half the price as any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, they also sound just as good and are backed by a selection of celebrities and music connoisseurs like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, just to name a few. Even Mike Tyson wears them. You think he gave a pair to Holyfield as an apology? I'm sorry. Their sleek, compact design fits all nice and snugly in the ears, giving you a great noise isolating fit, and they last about 6 hours on a single charge, but you can also charge up the carrying case to give you more hours of playtime on the go. And in my case, well, normally I like to take these out when I'm busy doing errands, but in these times where it's best to stay home, they're still good in keeping my ears company when I'm drawing or cleaning up the house. And they come in a variety of colors to boot. Pick something to match your preferred aesthetic. And you can save 15% off your order today by following the link in the description below, buyraycon.com/Somecallmejohnny. Pick yourself up a pair today and please be safe out there. Anywho, on with the show. Yeah, remember when I said I didn't want Kirby bleeding into April? Well, here we are with another Kirby video at the end of April. So you know what? Let's just continue on. This is Kirby's Squeak Squad for the Nintendo DS, and like Amazing Mirror, this is one I'm playing for the first time for this video. But compared to Amazing Mirror and other games before this, I didn't hear folks actually talk much about Squeak Squad. Besides learning that the folks behind Amazing Mirror were back for this one, I didn't really know what I was getting into popping this in, and that was kind of exciting in its own way. I just had to hope that it wasn't another Metroidvania attempt. We're now in a Kirby era that is completely absent of series creator Masahiro Sakurai. The man was no longer involved in the game, so did this in any way affect the future of the series? If this game is anything to go by, no, not really. Squeak Squad is one of the most basic, one of the safest, most fundamental, unremarkable Kirby games I've ever played so far for this channel. So Kirby's out and relaxing, getting ready to chow down on this delicious slice of strawberry shortcake. I admire the attempted civility, Kirby, thinking of using actual silverware there, but I'm not falling for it, you pink, bottomless void. Before Kirby can properly munch down, the cake is suddenly stolen right under his nose, and immediately Kirby thinks it's the work of King Dedede. So he heads down to his castle, beats him up, and demands answers, but it turns out the real culprits of the stolen dessert was the work of these goons, the Squeak Squad, a band of treasure hunting thieves that really have nothing better to do. Kirby proceeds to give chase, he will not be denied his cake, but then Meta Knight pops in later on and steals the treasure chest for himself, and then Kirby hunts him down. But then it turns out the thing inside the chest is not a cake, but a dark force that possesses the leader of the Squeak Squad for a short bit before Kirby kicks the shit out of him, and then the dark force itself tries to cause a ruckus before Kirby kicks the shit out of him again. The day is saved and Kirby finally gets his goddamn cake. What just happened here? What is this story? Why did the Squeak Squad steal Kirby's cake? And apparently Meta Knight knew that the chest contained an evil force and that's why he stole it from Kirby, to protect Dreamland. But why didn't he just tell Kirby that? The other half of this game could have been completely avoided if Meta Knight elaborated on his plan. That's dumber than the Dreamrod shit from Kirby's Adventure. What, is he bitter about the Superstar incident? What a petty fuck. An insignificant plot full of insignificant characters. I don't know who has less significance in the world of Nintendo, the Angler Army from Star Fox Command or the Squeak Squad. These schmucks are just bad guys to fight. Sometimes. You're playing a stage and near the end you find the big treasure chest to get. You grab it and then suddenly one of the Squeak Squad show up to try and take it from you. However, they are so easy to ignore, and even if they manage to get the chest and retreat back to their home base, they are pathetically simple to take down, even more so than the common mini-bosses peppered throughout the game. They have next to no recovery time, so with something like the fire ability, cornering them is all a matter of holding a button down. And this is all what they amount to, these small scuffles. The leader of the squad is a little more involved, and he gets an interesting fight when he gets possessed by this dark nebula thing, but that is it as far as the actual squad itself being remotely threatening. This dark nebula though, I don't know if they wanted to give us dark matter without it actually being dark matter, but out of all the cosmic abominations we faced so far, this is one of, if not the most, inconsequential, and he too is also relatively easy to take down. One of the easiest final bosses in the series so far, and an anticlimactic cap on what I consider to be the defining definition of a Kirby game game on autopilot. God, this game is just there. I guess I can call it a step up from Amazing Mirror strictly because it doesn't struggle trying to be something it's not, but then again, Squeak Squad doesn't struggle trying to be anything. This is a very by-the-numbers Kirby game, but one that feels a little lesser than, say, Nightmare in Dreamland, the GBA remake of Adventure on the NES. Yeah, I really think everything seen here has been done better in that game, even Superstar, if you're willing to deal with that game being a grab bag of multiple ideas. Despite being on the Nintendo DS, graphically it looks about the same as Amazing Mirror and such. I mean, it still looks fine, it's colorful, backgrounds are still beautifully detailed, animations are fluid and bouncy, and the music's good. A lot of reused tracks from Nightmare in Dreamland and Amazing Mirror. There's some original pieces here, I don't think there was enough of it though. Most of the soundtrack sounds like it's from previous games. The unique elements of Squeak Squad are either heavily underutilized or not much in terms of value. Kirby in this game can store up to 5 items in, I guess this is his stomach, is he a cow now? But think of it as a basic inventory. Sometimes you may find food or power-ups inside these bubbles and you can store them for future use. A cool feature, I have to say. The game is still a breeze, and I was honestly expecting the small inventory to be an issue, given that the treasure chests you pick up also count as items, meaning in those stages that have up to 3 treasure chests to collect, you're limited to 2 slots for a health pickup or an ability if you want to get everything in one go. But this never became much of a problem because, at the end of the day, it's a Kirby game. Power-ups and health items are everywhere to keep you safe. I did find these little things cumbersome, these little miniature Kirbys. You get 3 of these and you can combine them into an extra life, in a game that I already think gives you more than enough. Until you get 3 of them at once though, they just hog up inventory space since they don't do anything individually, so 95% of the time I either ignored them or immediately spat them out whenever I accidentally grabbed one. The inventory system is still a feature I can admire. When you got some extra health lying about, you need a quick pick-me-up during a boss, you just tap the item on the bottom screen and voila, you're back to good health. Or, if you think this one power-up you got earlier is better suited for this one obstacle or mini-boss, again, tap the screen and you're using that power-up now. Keep in mind, you can only store abilities you find in these bubbles. You can't transfer powers you inhale through traditional means to the bottom screen for later use, and I don't understand why that wasn't a thing, especially since one of the features this game touts is the process of combining items, and limiting the amount of power-ups you can actually store in the inventory limits the potential of that gameplay mechanic. Now I say that, but the mixing element is so undercooked. You can combine smaller food items to make something more substantial, and I mean there's still so many food items given to you in Maxim tomatoes that are practically full restores. It's a bit unneeded I think overall. However, the game also suggests that you can combine power-ups to make some spiffy combinations, and at first I'm like, ooh, like in Kirby 64? Ooh, man, I mean Squeak Squad is already rocking way more power-ups in the Dark Matter trilogy, and now you're telling me that we can get all sorts of potential combinations for further mayhem? That sounds great. There's about 5 total, and they're all strictly cosmetic variants of the sword or bomb abilities. You want a fire sword or a thunder sword, or how about an ice bomb? They all work about the same as the standard stuff, only one's blue and one's red. Major letdown. Granted, there's still a bunch of copy abilities to go around, and the variety in gameplay is still there to be enjoyed. I love what they did with the magic ability in this game. It was introduced in Amazing Mirror first as this sort of one-use bonus item, get you some extra lives and other things I think, but here, first off, love that top hat. Very stylish, but it also shoots birds in an upward arc. You can toss playing cards horizontally, or you can summon Boppo the Clown and cheese certain enemies or puzzles. Watch and be amazed, Meta Knight. What, you don't like magic tricks? Well, you don't like fun? Pick a card and let me guess what it is. And where's my fucking Shortcake? This animal ability is alright. You can use this to dig through dirt and other things at certain levels. It reminds me of the mold transformation from Yoshi's Island. A little too situational though, I didn't use it much except when it was needed to get those treasure chests. I found it clunky to use outside of that. Watching Kirby maul things with the grab attack is cute, but I feel I can do more with other abilities. And this also extends to that bubble ability. Simply put, I just think there are better ways of taking care of bad guys. I rarely use this one too. There's also this ghost ability. Why did they even bother with this? Well, you can't even get access to it without finding all these ghost medals across the game. You do that and then you can fight this ghost dude who replaces certain mini bosses in specific stages. Beat him and you can get the skill. Okay, making you go out of the way for this one. Ghost must be pretty cool. It's not. You can't do anything except possess regular enemies and use their special skills. Something Kirby can already do with this copy ability, much better I might add. Attacking with possessed enemies is awkward and clumsy. I mean, look at the wind up here with the spark enemy as opposed to using the spark ability you can use from copying them. I don't know, maybe there's some novelty in attacking DDD with a Waddle Dee, but again, another element of Squeak Squad that is undercooked. Besides the handful of elements that I suppose gives Squeak Squad some passing identity, everything else is routine. Multiple worlds, all with about 5 stages, including an extra stage if you manage to collect enough treasure chests along the way. You know what, strangely enough, if there's one thing I think Squeak Squad does right, it's the treasure chests. Compared to the Great Cave Offensive in Superstar or Amazing Mirror, there's merit in collecting these besides 100% completion and getting the true ending. Like in Amazing Mirror, you can score multiple colors for Kirby to rock, and I really like the grayscale one because it even makes your attacks black and white, going for that old school Dreamland look. You can even unlock a third skill for your copy abilities to get more out of them, although gotta give that element a little flack because Kirby could do some of these techniques in earlier games without having to unlock them first. I'm not too big on giving something significance by virtue of limiting what Kirby could do naturally before. As for the other things you can unlock, there's music for this sound test, you can collect pieces for these pictures. I like to think of the chests as the red rings from Sonic Generations. Collectibles that give you neat bonuses without it being something superfluous like a health item when you don't need one, or an extra life when the game already gives you 50,000 of them. Collect enough of them and you even unlock this room with every power-up available at your disposal. Yeah, you know what? I like that. There are times where I think getting the chests can be a little annoying. Some levels are guilty of having multiple one-way pathways that each have a chest, forcing you to replay the stage again if you want to fully complete it. I'm all for replayability, but that kind of feels like padding to me, something they likely found necessary to do given how short this game really is. It only took me about 4 hours to fully 100% this game. It was a comfortable pace, didn't think there was much that I found obnoxious, nothing to really get the blood boiling, nothing really at all. It's all so vanilla. You got some sub games to spend about a minute on before you never touch them again, I guess that was to be expected. I was excited to see the game have an extra mode, but Squeak Squad's definition of that is just the regular game again, with a timer to clock your total game time. Okay, I'd rather it be something like Meta Nightmare mode like before. That's incentive to replay the game if you ask me. This is just the regular game again, with a counter. There's also a boss endurance mode, and shit, if you want to break that in half, just use the tornado skill because good lord it was overtuned as shit in this game, it's absurd. It's like the parasol combination you used with Coup in Dreamland 2. You're dealing out damage constantly, you're totally invincible while spinning, and you can spam the fucking thing, Jesus. I enjoyed my time here more than I did Amazing Mirror, but now that the game went back to something more traditional, it's nothing more than a watered down Nightmare in Dreamland. Be careful what you wish for, I suppose. Power-ups are still fun to use, and once again there's plenty to go around, but other unique or new elements are left wanting. Level design is nothing special either. I looked through my notes, and I had nothing to say for any of these worlds specifically. There was nothing that irked me, nothing that amazed me, nothing that left any sort of impact. Can't say much about boss fights because they're so trivial, including the titular Squeak Squad. There is nothing terrible about this game, but this game is a whole bunch of nothing. Have I made that clear yet? I'm not sure I did. I'd say give it a shot if you're hungry for another Kirby ROM, but you are missing absolutely nothing by skipping out on this one. You're better off eating a slice of strawberry shortcake. Good God, this game was about Kirby trying to get his fucking cake back. Sure, it's funny, but it's also stupid. I guess they really needed to squeeze a Kirby game out for the DS to meet some sort of quota, didn't they? Well, they did. They certainly did. Kirby Squeak Squad fulfills that quota. And you know what? I feel kind of dirty ending the marathon with this game, considering how it didn't really do anything. So, why the hell not? Let's throw one more game into this mix before we decide to officially wrap up this marathon. So, let's say we look at Kirby Air Ride for the Nintendo GameCube next time. Yeah, it's a spin-off, but it was the last game directed by Masahiro Sakurai, the series creator, and I think there's merit in giving the game a look because of that. So, that's what I'm going to focus on for next time. As always, thank you all for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, wipe your ass, don't hog all the goddamn toilet paper. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. I'm actually thinking back to something I said earlier, and who really was more insignificant in the realm of Nintendo villains? Was it the Angler Army from Star Fox Command or Squeak Squad? This warrants a poll. I will leave a poll in the video. Let me know what you guys think. Should be pretty interesting.